Waikato Management School. My name is Jens Mueller, and together with some colleagues from the school, our deans, administrative staff, we want to walk you through a journey of a 499 from start to finish, so that you know what you can expect and that we can tell you how we can help and what you can do to make this a rewarding experience. Waikato Management School is a first-class, worldwide business school. The intent of the education here is not just that you learn, but also that we prepare you for good and rewarding careers in management, whether it is in Hamilton, in New Zealand, here in Hong Kong, or in other places worldwide. The 499 is your opportunity to take theoretical knowledge from the classroom, apply it to corporations, to not-for-profits, to government entities, to organizations anywhere in the world and in New Zealand, to make sure that you can demonstrate that you can contribute to organizations' growth, development, and prosperity. We will walk you through what exactly you will need to do to create a good 499 that allows you to make a point when you interview, to make sure you can demonstrate that you can think practically and go beyond the theoretical knowledge of the classroom to show that you can contribute to a sustainable enterprise as that moves forward. Let me introduce to you now the Dean of the Management School, Professor who will give you an introduction to the 499, and then I will come back with some of my colleagues to give you specifics and details about the 499 process at Waikato Management School.
Waikato 499 is a defining emblem of Waikato Management School. It's what we're known for throughout New Zealand and these days even internationally in the business community. One of the things that in some senses surprised me, but I shouldn't have been surprised, is that when I travel internationally, I meet up with alumni, they tell me about their 499, they tell me about who they did it for, and the place it had in terms of their first job and establishing credibility for themselves. That's not surprising. The Waikato 499 bridges the academic excellence and reputation of the school with the practical relevance of everyday business and life. It's interesting how often a 499 can be used by a graduate as part of their placement into their next step and in fact an ongoing career.
499 is about the future of a firm, of an enterprise. So what you're after is to find a business, to find a firm, to find an organization, whether that is a for-profit, a not-for-profit, a local government institution, or anything in between, that intends to either change what they do, to grow, to fight competition, to go global, and to be important in the future. Here in Frankfurt, we have lots of firms that have been around for more than 100 years. They are sustainable. We look for businesses that are sustainable, that look for something they can do long-term to be successful, and we try to make sure that the firms that you work with are firms that have a medium to long-term perspective. It makes no sense to do a 499 for a 30, 40-day plan for 3 months, for 6 months. It should be something that is there for years to come as a starting point for a firm to move forward throughout their life. Firms that you would be looking for are firms that either are local, export, compete, are in a period of restructuring, have a change of ownership, look for succession plannings, firms that have something going for them that requires the expert opinion from an outsider to come in and show them what options they might have. Remember, in a 499, you are not going to do anything in that firm. You recommend to owners, managers, and senior staff what their options are to go forward. That means you do not write a 499 to please the business. You write a 499 with objective information that a business can use to found its options for decisions in the future. Let me now introduce Linda Twynham, who also works with many of our 499 students at the school. Linda?
499s are a marvellous opportunity for you to really distinguish yourself from the other students. They can be your crowning glory of your degree, a fabulous item of research that can really show off what you've learned and how you're different to the other students. But they take a lot of work. You've got to, every student I've ever spoken to has told me that they've taken longer than they expected them to be. They can really make a difference. One of my 499 students was invited by the organisation to speak to her 499 and to give the organisation a presentation because it was so good. Talk to your 499 supervisor get started early and really put lots of work into it, and you'll be pleased with the result.
Thank you, Linda. Now, what we're really after in a 499 is that you work with a firm, and so your first step is to find a firm. Now, very similar to New Zealand, here in Istanbul, in Germany, and many other places, we have a lot of very small firms. It's okay to work with a small firm, but it is also important to make sure that you have a firm that has enough potential to make things happen for itself so that you can help. Your first step in a 499 is to find a firm with whom you can work so that you can present the first preliminary outline of your work. You present that to the school, you present that to your supervisor, and then they work with you to make sure that you turn this into a fairly substantial piece of work that becomes the outline for your full 499. We have people at the school that will help you with that. And let me introduce to you Bobby Wisniewski, who is the administrator for the Stratman and HR department. She sits on the 4th floor, second door on the left, and she has the ability to help you through the process if you need any help. Let's switch over to Bobby.
Bobby Wisniewski, and I'm the manager of the Department of Strategy and HRM. Your 499 or 599 is probably one of the final papers you'll do to complete your Bachelor of Management Studies. And the biggest assistance that we can give you is the advice that we have on the website. Follow the timelines. Keep in regular touch with your supervisor. We can help you if things go wrong towards the beginning and the middle. We cannot help you when you turn up, when your draft assignment's due, and say, I haven't done anything. There are extension forms available. There are timeline moves. We can help you transfer from a 499 that you're enrolled in. If you've had crises, we can help you transfer the fees to another 499 and withdraw from the current one. But the biggest thing that I can emphasize is the staying in touch with your supervisor and getting their help, particularly if things start to look like they're going wrong. So good luck for your 499 or 599.
So let's recap where we are. Step number 1 is to look for a company where something happens, where something could happen, where there is a bright future. And if I can just submit to you, it makes sense to scan this somewhat wider rather than looking at a very narrow, small, short-term opportunity. Look wider. In many businesses today, it is not just the local stakeholders, the local environment that controls how well these businesses can do. It is the influence from outside, sometimes from outside the region, sometimes from outside the country. Look behind me. The bridge there connects Europe and Asia. That means competitors from a whole new continent are one bridge away. And I submit to you that today, with electronic trading, with internet, with access to a lot of information, for many firms in Hamilton, in New Zealand, competition from all over the world is just one click away. Step number 2 is that after you have submitted your initial proposal and you have discussed that with the 499 office and the convener, you then work with your supervisor on a detailed proposal, one that maps out exactly what you will do. The supervisor and the convener for the 499 for the Waikato Management School Stratman and HR department is Glinder Jones. And Glinder has brought a student with him, Jenna, and they both will talk about some of the practicalities of the 499 for you going forward. And then I will tell you more about what some of the key sections in a 499 would be. So next is Glinder Jones.